So let us talk about the group by and the having clause in SQL. Now, before I explain anything to you, you tell me. Just think about it logically and tell me what do you understand by group by. So basically, it will group the data, isn't it? So as we can see on the table on the screen, it has got product A and B, and we are able to group the data based on the products. So there can be two or more products, but basically it can group the data. That's it. The second important thing to remember is that group by can be used only with the aggregated functions. What are aggregated functions? Functions like sum, average, count, right? So basically, for instance, this one we are doing the sum, isn't it? So that's an aggregate function. So along with the aggregate functions only we can use group by. And the third important thing to remember is that you can group by based on the column only if it is present in the select statements. What I'm trying to say is, if you see product column in the select statement, then and then only you can group by based on the product column. If the product is not here, then you cannot do that, right? So these things we should remember. Now, what do you understand by having clause? Just like we use where clause along with the select query, similarly we use having clause along with the group by. That means to put a condition. Okay. For instance, in the example that I have given to you, group by had the output table something like this: product A, product B, 600, 400. So I can use having in this particular case, stating that I want the values greater than 500 only. So if you can see, this is what I have provided and I've got the outcome. So I was able to put a condition using the having clause. I hope this must have given you the basic idea. Now let us do it practically. So first of all, we will need to create a table. Now, in order to create a table, I'm going to use this query. So I'll just run this and I'll show you the table created. So as we can see, we are able to run this table successfully, and the name of the table is sales. So what I'll do, so as I run the query, I'll be able to see the table that we have created. So as we can see, this is the table that we have created. Don't worry about the query. I'll be sharing this query in the description of the video. So you can use that query and create a table like this. Okay. So let us try to make use of the group by clause. How do we do that? I'm going to make a query something like this: select product. So this is the product column. Okay. And then I'm going to make use of this sum function. What is sum function? It is the aggregate function. So we are going to do the sum based on the group by category. So select product, and then I'm using the aggregate function from sales, which is the name of the table, and then group by based on the product. Now, if I run this, I'll get the correct output. Let's just see if that really works. So I'll run this, and as expected, we are able to group the data based on the products. So I had told you two things to remember. The first and the foremost thing that I told you was that it is mandatory that we must use the aggregate functions, because along with the aggregate functions only we can use the group by. So let us say that I remove this aggregate function, and then if I try to run this, then let's see what happens. Okay. I'll just try to remove this aggregate function and then run this, and then let's just see what happens. So I run this and then I'm getting an error. What is the error? Column sales.sales must appear in the group by clause. So basically SQL is telling us that if you are using the group by clause, where is the aggregate function? You're not using it. That's why we are getting this error. So the moment I add the aggregate function, something like this, then this error will be gone. So let's just see if this really works. I'll just run this, and now the error is gone. Okay. One more thing that I told you is that if you are trying to group by based on the product, then that column must be present in the select statement. So as we can see, product is here, that's why it is working. If I remove product and instead if I add region, and then if you try to run it, this will throw an error. So let's just see, and this is again throwing an error. Why is that happening? Because what we are mentioning in the select statement must match with what is there in the group by. So let us try to do one experiment. What we will do, we will try to group by based on the region. So what I'll do, I'll just add a region here, and then let's just see, because now we can see region is in the select statement, region is in the group by statement. So I'll run this and see if this really works. And as expected, now we are able to group by based on the region. So I hope you got what I'm trying to say. Now let us talk about the having clause. Select and where are like couples. So similarly, group by and having are like the couples. Whenever we use select statement to put a condition, we use where clause. Similarly, whenever we use group by, in order to add a condition, we use having clause. So currently using this group by clause, we are able to get this table. Now let's just say I want to put a condition. The condition is that having sum of cells should be greater than 500. That means I want to filter only the rows wherein the sum of cells is greater than 500. That means we should be able to get only this first row. So let us try. So having, I'll just put a syntax like having sum of what, same sales function greater than 500. Now when I run this query, it should reflect just one row, that is for east. So let's just see that. So let's just see if this really works. I'll run this, and as expected we are getting the output. I hope you are able to understand this. Please ensure that you practice this. Don't just watch my videos. And one more important thing that I wanted to tell you is that I know the videos that I make, the background or the editing is not the top notch. I know that. I get it. But at this point of time, my focus is only on providing the value. I'm trying to make as much videos as possible that can help you guys. Okay. So I hope you understand. Please bear with me for that. Editing and background and lighting, all of those things will come eventually. That will take some time, but at this point of time let's just focus on the content. Okay, thank you so much.